going on?
Okay.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. And that is William Shakespeare's All the World's a Stage. Everyone in this room has in common that we are here living in a free country. I have done my research and looked at past and current data. Millions of men and women every year enlist in the United States military. The cost of war is great, especially for those individuals whose likelihood of suffering from PTSD and TBI, depression, anxiety, and addiction skyrocket by volunteering to serve their country. Soldiers who enlist in the U.S. military are immediately more likely to be rewarded for their patriotism, PTSD, depression, and addiction than a non-combatant. I'd like to explain exactly what PTSD and TBI is. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, according to Mayo Clinic, is a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. The conditions may last years or months, with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. Mayo Clinic described traumatic brain injury, TBI, as brain dysfunction caused by an outside force, usually a violent blow to the head. 85.2% suffer from at least a mild case of TBI, and 12.9% suffer from PTSD. Symptoms may include nightmares or unwanted memories of trauma. Now that you know a little bit about PTSD and TBI, let me tell you a little bit about some other mental illnesses that commonly occur in veterans. Depression and anxiety. A team from the VA Palo Alto Health Care System and Stanford University of Medicine found 11% of veterans reported an elevated rates of depression, compared with the 12.8% of non-veterans. For anxiety, 9.9% of veterans reported elevated levels. There is help for these vets. Counseling and medications are both options. Several types of depression medications or antidepressants are used to treat depression. These drugs improve symptoms of depression by increasing the availability of the brain chemicals. It is believed that these chemicals help regulate brain circuits that affect emotions. An attempt to cope with PTSD, depression, and anxiety, many veterans and people in general turn to substance abuse. 46% of veterans in federal prisons were incarcerated for drug law violence. Approximately 41, or about 1.7 million veterans in this coherent have a mental health and need of assistance. 19% of current conflict veterans who have received VA care or have been diagnosed with substance abuse suffer from PTSD, TBI, or depression. Veterans do not qualify for substance abuse disability benefits unless they also have PTSD. So if they have depression or anxiety, if they have depression or anxiety, they don't receive help unless they also have PTSD. Veterans who struggle with substance abuse and mental illness are much more likely to die prematurely than their peers who are not afflicted with these conditions. In particular, Vietnam veterans with PTSD from combat face a heightened risk of dying from a fatal drug overdose. Showing patriotism can call soldiers their mind and their well-being. A post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury have been called the signature wounds of wars and past and present wars. Substance abuse, depression, anxiety, too, must be counted among the signature wounds of current conflict. Returning veterans have increasingly become casualties of the war on mental health.